Well, today our lecture deals with inner class. Now, inner class is a class within another class. As I have made this class. So, this is a class which is inside another class. So, we call this as inner class. Now, there are around 4 types of inner classes that we have in Java. The first is the static inner class. Second is the non-static inner class. Third is the local inner class. And fourth, we have the anonymous class. So, based on different uses and specification, these are classified. Now, what exactly is the purpose of inner class? Now, many a times during graphics applications, what we have is a number of components on the screen. We have buttons, we have checkboxes, we have text fields, and we want to respond to different events in a different way. So, suppose I create a class, say button, that deals with how to handle when the user clicks any button. I can have a class, say text, that deals with how to deal with text events. I can have a class that deals with checkboxes. So my code is very clear. Anybody wants to go through the code, or suppose the problem comes when I'm clicking a button and the desired output is not coming, so I need to only deal with this button class, which entirely deals with what happens when you press a button. So this leads to a much more clarity of code and much more specific code. So now let us see the first case when the inner class is static. So I'll feed some data here. Instance variable, say x, static variable, say y, and similarly I'll declare some instance variable in inner class and declare some static variable in the inner class, and also I'll declare a method, say show. So let me now write down the various points for a static inner class. Now the rule number 1 for a static inner class is that it can access only the static part of the outer class. It cannot access any instance part of the outer class, because no instance is in picture when you run a static inner class. So the instance part is not in picture when this class is created. So it can access only the static part of the outer class. This is the rule number 1. So this means that there is a problem in case I try to access x. So it says cannot make static reference to the non-static field x. So the rule number 1 is we can only access static members of outer class, no access to the instance members. Second rule is it can itself declare instance as well as static members. So I have already declared instance member, I have declared a static member, and I can access within this method. I can say plus z plus k. I'll have to remove x, because being instance variable of outer class, it cannot be accessed from inner class. Now rule number 3 is how do we create object of an inner class. Now for that, let us first understand that inner class, being inside a class outer, cannot be directly referred by class inner. So it will always be referred in reference to the name of the outer class. So we'll have to write its name as outer.inner. So I'll say outer.inner, and any object name is equal to new outer.inner. and I can call method show through this object. Now since we are writing the main within the class where inner is declared, here I can refer to this as inner also. But in case I am trying to refer it from some class say D, which is outside the outer class, so here I can only refer to inner as outer.inner. There is no other option. Whereas within the class outer, I can refer to this directly as inner also. So let me call the method show. So it gives me 90, which is 40 plus 30 plus 20. So this is how it works. The three rules for these are, third is how to create object, and that we have already seen. It is as simple as a normal class except for the name, which we have to take care of, that it is outer dot inner. So now let us further see how class files are generated for inner classes. So I just copy this code so that I can run this on DOS. So I have saved this file. I'll compile it on my DOS. And now let me see what the files have been generated. Now we can see that for the outer class it has generated outer.class, but for the inner class it has generated outer$inner.class. So for every inner class, the syntax is outer class name, $inner class name, and then the dot class, which is standard. So for the inner class, it has generated the class file outer$inner.class. So another thing worth seeing here is that as we have already said that inner class can declare anything static also, so I can even take this off from the outer class and paste it within the inner class. So what difference it makes? I'll again compile the file. But when I run the file, if I say Java outer, it says there is no main found in class outer, because now the main is in outer$inner. So see, we have again got the output 90. So depending upon where the main is, in case it is in the outer class, we can run this as Java outer. In case this lies within the inner class, we can say outer$inner. So this is all for a static class. Next lecture we'll go through what is a non-static inner class.